Hello, welcome to another edition of UPass ESP32 audio video intercom. I've done a bit of progress since the last time we uploaded a video. We've trying to set up a cowl, and last time I did say we were going to try to set up a cowl next. Let me show you what I've been up to a little bit. Right, just going to zoom out, enable the, try and keep the microphone still today so I don't get too loud. Right, so you've got a wall mount version of it. Right, I don't know if I showed you this last time, but basically we've got an aluminium cowl I've designed and a wooden cowl. Now the aluminium one I haven't done too much with, that's got to have to be designed, so we'll lose that one for a bit. So there's your wall mount one, so we'll lose the wall mount one, concentrate on this one. Now since last time I designed, can't show you now, let me just load up the other one. Right, so what we're going to do is load up the one I was trying to do. We're in SketchUp, and I designed this particular one here. It's not exactly like for like, but what it is, that thing there, that plate is designed to sit in there. Let's see if I can bring up the polycarbonate. Polycarb, that's not shown, is it? No, I think I took them away. Yeah, I copied just this piece out. Yeah. So basically we got this wooden box that's sort of 5mm and 5mm and like a lip. I designed it, but then I worked it out. It was going to be quite difficult to make, labor intensive. So this is what you do with SketchUp. You design your model, then you have to break the parts apart and lie them onto a flat sheet and space them apart enough to mill out on your CNC router. You have to mill it out, and you've got to leave enough space on the material for the next one, and so forth. Then you've got to imagine I've got to mill all these bits out. These are just the sides. So then I've got to work out how I'm going to glue them all together. Now I'm going to butt up these corners here. So I'd have to miter them at 45 degrees and then glue them and somehow fasten them. And somehow work out I'm going to put the lip in here. This lip in, and I'm going to hold it all together while gluing. Very labour intensive. And not ideal, really. Anyway, so my next idea was to abandon that. Go back to the previous one. Right, so last week you didn't see, hang on. Last week you didn't see, or last time I did a video, you didn't see the cowl. All you saw was this bit here, and it didn't have rounded corners then. The polycarbonate, this is the clear polycarbonate, didn't have round corners. I didn't have the fixings either, so let's get rid of the fixings. Let's get rid of the reed head a minute. So you've got all the electronics screwed to the back of the polycarbonate, basically. Fastened to the back of the polycarbonate. Let's bring that over for you. Alright. So that's what the idea. So I'm going to build it all, screw it all. Get the CNC router to mill out the plastic. All the holes, might even be laser cut yet as well. All the holes for the speaker and the microphone, and all the fixing hole, the mounting holes for all these PCBs. What I'll do is just dimple them, or probably drill them. Drill it. This is a 5mm thick polycarbonate, so I'll probably drill it to 3mm. 3mm depth, and then tap it. An M3 tap. Okay. So anyway, there's that. let's just get that back up to where we can see what's going on with it. Right, so the aluminium plate that goes over the top, that's going to have to be milled out on the CNC, routed out. And that's just exact copy of the plastic, really, apart from it's got blank, you only mill out the windows you want to see, so it's TFT. I told you this last time anyway. So, camera, mic, and all the rest of it. So anyway, long story short, to keep this short, this video, going back to the cowl, let's get the cowl back on. Alright, so I've got, this is the cowl. I've decided to cheat a bit. Instead of going back to the other one with all the bits, I've got to, you know, miter all this and then glue it and everything. I thought, well, let's not bother. Let's make it out of a solid piece of timber. So I'd look at what's available at various, you know, Do It All, Wix, B&Q, Juicens, all that kind of place. And there seems to be a timber that's 170 width by 45 deep, thereabouts. Some people list it at 175, and there's some to do it at 38, but it's got to be 170 by 45, which will give me a 15mm, 10mm lip all the way around. With, if I get rid of let me get rid of the aluminium front, and then the polycarbonate, so you can just about see. Right, so what we've got now is there's all the electronics that's sat in there. We can get rid of the electronics. I'll just show you there's room all the way around. So there's room here. It's not going to touch the sides, and it's not going to touch the side there. It's quite close there, but it's not going to touch. It's okay. And there's nothing going to touch, so it's quite good. So let's get rid of some of the stuff so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so now if you can imagine, this is like a joist size material that goes long piece. So that's a by joist piece of wood. It's 170mm or 7-inch by 2-inch or 45mm. So I don't think they're too critical on the sizes, but I need to be critical. I need to make sure it's got 45mm and 170mm. So basically, I haven't got to plane this side. I've only got to sand it. I might plane it, just skim it. Depends how rough it is, but it's got to be quite good. If it's not that good, I might get them to run it through a planer. So that'll be almost ready to sand, and the top will be ready to sand. The edge will be it's just going to be the rough end, so that's going to take a bit of sanding, that is. And so cut it there, cut the plank or the timber off just slightly bigger, or exactly the size actually, just enough for sanding. So the original size was 200mm, so we've got an extra 220mm. So cut it 220mm, just straight down there, so it's one cut. Imagine all this is filled in, right? You can't see none of this yet. So anyway, let's just get this around there. So what I've got, if you can imagine, like my spindle on my CNC, it's got to be able to what we do is do it in stages. We'll do a pocket on the wood in stages. We'll go around here, around here, around here, and it'll go around a few passes. It'll basically clear all this material. So imagine this is, it's hard to show you really. Let's have a look. Let me just see if I can. No, I can't. I better not mess with it. Anyway, imagine that my first pass is just to mill out this. What it is? You got 5mm polycarbonate and 1.2mm aluminium plate, but I want to leave myself about 1/2 mil to sand. Okay, sand any blemishes. So if I just put the TFT back on, as you can see, let's do it in the right order. So your polycarbonate will get to about there, and your aluminium will take up that. That leaves about 8.8 of a mil. Because you're never going to get this absolutely right. Because when you bolt this down to your bed, the wood's going to be slightly out. So this will give me a chance to sand it flush. So I'll have to keep trying it. I'll have to try a lid in and put the I'll have to have a polycarbonate and a spare aluminium. Pop it in and just see how I am, and then sand it down. This is another way of doing it. Anyway, so we've got this nice looking box. I'm gonna varnish it, sand it very finely, and high gloss and varnish it. And it's gonna look a bit like a nicely polished guitar. Okay. Now the polycarbonate will just drop into place here. Okay. So, let me just get rid of that again. Get rid of the polycarbonate. So back to this. So I've had to move the fixing up. I've had to move the 20mm hole up from there. Because what I don't want to do is start milling with a spindle. And the spindle, I've checked it does reach, and I've got a long bit to put on it. So I'll mill out this top piece first, and when that's finished, I'll load up another pattern that mills out this area here, this inner area, another pocket, and when that's finished, it'll mill out the fixing holes and the cable management holes. Yeah. So that's the idea. The mounting holes for the polycarbonate, where these screw into, I might just pot the holes, or actually drill them. But what I'm trying to do is trying to get away with it's a 4.5mm drill bit, or end mill. It is. I'm using an end mill. It's quite a deep one compared to. I can't show you. Oh no, I can show you actually. There it is. I forgot I got the camera there. So this is what I've found, and it's got like a bit of a shoulder. Can you see it? It's quite deep. Normally they only go to about 20mm, but this one goes a bit further. So anyway, that one is going to do all the milling. So obviously, if I want to put a 5mm, I want to put a 5mm fixing in here. And let me put the fixings back on. So this fixing here, obviously, if I drill it out to 4.5mm, actually it's not far off, is it? Might be able to just do what they call plunge. I'll use the Flatboy's tools in SketchUp and do a plunge there. I might not go all the way. I might go sort of so far down. It depends on how tight a fit it is. So that's a 5mm thread, M5. So I just plunge it to M4, sort of about there. Just enough to get it in. Anyway, so there's that. There might be a rubber seal in this as well. But this is designed for indoors, this desktop mount, so it shouldn't really be a problem for water. But the same idea for the cowl for outside. Hang on. Where are we? Yeah. So this one may need a seal on it. I mean, really, this one could be milled out, but it'll have to be milled out of billet aluminium. It'll be very strong, but cost a fortune, so that's probably not a good idea. So we'll change the idea of that one. I'll probably we'll have to look at having that fabricated, maybe. Anyway, right, back to this one. So that's the idea. Let's just lose the screws a minute, lose the fixings, lose the polycarbonate. Okay, so basically, this is a chunk of timber that you can buy from any sort of timber yard or builder's place. And I'll just mill it out. So there's a one pass. Then there's the other pocket. So small pocket there. 7mm pocket. gives you the 5mm polycarbonate, 1.2mm aluminium plate, and you've got 0.5 or 0.8 of a mil to sand and all the rest of it. So, and then we've got to see how deep this is. That's 23mm, that is. Now the deepest thing is the camera module. So let's have a look at that. So we've got 23mm. Let's get over here a bit. So your 23mm, oops, gone too far. Hang on. As you can see, 23mm, even with a fix in there, just gives me enough clearance there. Just gives me the clearance for the fixing, and there's a little bit for cable if there's any cables in the way. So when you put it in, when it's all mounted to the front plate, so your polycarbonate and your front plate, basically when it's all like that, you're still going to get enough clearance for any cable, your cable management, which will come through there. And then you've got your fixings to bolt it to the wedge or a wall mount. If you want to just go straight to wall mount, it might just sit behind the desk on a wall, you know. But if you want it on the desk, then I've got to make the wedge. Okay, so let's lose the camera a minute. Right, so it all fits in. And if we look at here, we've got it's about a 15mm thick. So the lip is 10mm thick all the way around here, this first pocket, but it's made out of the same piece of timber. Then we come in and we mill out this section, and my spindle will just be able to do this, I hope. I'm gonna have to try it. What I'm gonna have to do is put this drill bit. I have to put this drill. It's not a drill bit. This end mill. It's two fluted end mill. Two, what do they call them? Put that into my collet. I'll have to put it right at the end, like that. Right at the end of the collet. So I've got all that depth. All that depth milling around, right? Okay. So I'll have to try one first. There might be. Hopefully the spindle will be clear of this outer shoulder while it's milling it out. So it'll go up and down, up and down, up and down, mill out the first pocket. When it's finished, I'll open up the next lot of G-code, which will mill out this bit. I won't move the thing, it'll stay where it is. Now, I've got to work out how I'm going to get it to stay still as well. It's got to be clamped down somehow, so where to clamp this down when, just, you know, I'm going to have to devise that. Then it's going to have to mill out all this. It'll go round and mill out all this and then empty this out. Then it'll mill out the holes and then it'll mill out this cable gland. And it'll do the fixing holes for the polycarbonate, which I haven't put on yet. It'll do them as well. But you've got here, the bottom is 15mm thick again. There you go. 15mm thick. So the whole thing is 15mm thick, so it should be quite hefty and weighty. So there's no, basically I have got nothing to mitre. I haven't got nothing to glue, nothing to mitre, and this will be all I've got to do is some sanding. Get these sides. These are gonna be the end of the grain of the wood. These ends, so that'll run along the grain. That'll be the end. So this will be the problematic bit. So I'll have to. Obviously got to choose my wood well, if possible. And the reason I've allowed 10mm here, because I've made some little trinket boxes and stuff in the past, where they've got like a 5mm hole. That's great for when you're going along the grain, but not so good when you're going across the grain. When you go across the grain, it can splinter, and it can push these sections out. If you imagine the end of the grain there, and it's trying to mill this. I've allowed 10mm, and I'll bring the speed down a bit. I'm not in a rush to make this. It doesn't matter if it takes a bit longer. So, it'll be pre-cut here because I can't mill with that bit there. That bit I can't use it to mill all the way around. It's not deep enough. The shoulder will hit the top. This bit, I mean, it's not 45 mil. Let me just check it. Let's just check it. So let's see what we got here. What we got? It's just over 30 mil. So I couldn't do that anyway, not with that one. And I'd rather not, to tell you the truth. I don't really want to mill all around this stuff. So if I choose the timber to be the right size, this will just be cut. I'll get them to cut it to size. I'll say cut. I want this timber, this plank, but I want it cut to be 220 wide, and the 170 will just be the size of the width of the timber, and the depth will be the depth of the timber. So basically, the crucial bit here is this is the crucial bit. So you've got 23 mil there, and we've got another. I can't do that, can I? Another 7 mil. So 30 mil. We've got 30 mil. So even if you had to use some of this timber's 38 mil. And if I did 38 mil thick, just put 38 in there, you can see I can actually use a bit less size in timber. Let's have a look. I got 7 mil. So 7 mil, and that would still give me. I forgot now. What will that give me if I go 15 mil? That'll still give me an 8. Hang on, that's not going to be good, is it? Still give me an 8 mil thick base. Okay, so basically I can afford for the timber to be less thick, but I'd like to keep it standard anyway. But that is quite a hefty thing then. If it's the thinnest piece is this 10 mil at the top, which is just 7 mil deep. The rest of it is quite chunky, and because this is the original timber here, I haven't got to try and join this lip in or anything. It's all part of the same thing, same piece of timber, and it'll carry a bit of weight to it. So, and all I've got to do then is drop in the bits, you know, the polycarbonate, and these will be milled out as well, or laser cut. So I can generate laser cut G code with the same program, SketchUp, to use in my K40. I'll use K40 Whisper software, and I should be able to get this close so there's no gap. So it's almost a dead tight fit. Probably too tight, but anyway. That'll require a little bit of experimenting, inside, outside, overcut amount. So with the flat script, you can control it all. Let me show you the flat script. So is that going to show you? No, it's not going to show you. So I'm only capturing the window in question, so I can't show you that. Anyway, so let's lose the polycarbonate, have the aluminium, and hope this you'll be able to. It'll be a nice fit. I've done these before with plastic, little boxes, and it's surprising how great the fit is. So all I have to do is take this plate out and just skim over it, sand up this area here, or around the rim. Sand this area around here till it's flush, or leave it slightly lower. I don't really want to leave it like that, slightly lower. So when to the touch, it's going to be glossy, smooth, varnished, and glossed, or shellacked, so they call it, or lacquer. And this will be anodized aluminium, black anodized aluminium. And all I've got to do is just mount everything to the polycarbonate. And we can have different grills for different things, so that's basically it. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. And thought I'd show you a bit of progress, and I'm glad, because I was a bit fretting over how to join all this up and be labour intensive. Now I can just get the CNC to do it and just mill it out in one. Bit better. Okay, well, anyway, thanks again for watching. I've been David from UPass, which is Ultra Connect Perimeter Access Surveillance. It's mostly an open source project at the minute, as in the design and all the technology, basically. So it could be of interest to a lot of people. And of course, one more thing, this panel, you might not need the cowl. You might not need the cowl. You might be able to mount everything with the polycarbonate and all the bits in between. The camera, the button. Yeah, so this thing could be mounted to a wall, a hole in the wall, just some bricks missing, and you could just fasten it. I've seen these fastened with just the bricks, screwed into the brick, and as long as you can just fasten that in like that. But anyway, right, there's the other bit. Okay, right, let's put the cowl back on and get back to that view there. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll give you some more updates. Leave it, if you've got any ideas or comments, leave them in, and I will read them and reply. So, I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, thanks for watching, bye bye.